Let's begin with the final push for both presidential campaigns. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have just 4 more days to shore up support from undecided voters before Election Day. Candidates are turning their focus down to the Midwest. Both Trump and Harris will head to Wisconsin today. The former president will also hold a rally at a college in Michigan. Trump's rally strategy has been to hurl insults at Harris and her campaign surrogates. Yesterday, during a fireside chat with Tucker Carlson, though, he used violent language and imagery, suggesting former GOP Congresswoman Liz Cheney should have guns pointed at her face. Listen.
His daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
All right, let's bring in CBS News campaign reporter Jake Rosen. He's joining me now from our bureau in Washington. Jake, you've covered the Trump campaign for some time now. We know that the president uses rhetoric, oftentimes childish, sometimes rhetoric that is dangerous. In this case, a former president of the United States suggesting that guns should be trained at the face of a woman who simply just disagrees with him politically. What's the reaction from Trump's camp on this attack on Liz Cheney?
Well, the Trump campaign has tried to make clear in kind of cleaning up this comment that it was in reference to Liz Cheney's policies on past U.S. wars and her general foreign affairs and foreign policy views. Obviously, that being said, he was still suggesting that 9 guns be pointed in her face, especially in the political climate that former Representative Cheney had to deal with for a long time, as she was on that January 6th committee where a lot of those members were facing constant threats. And the Harris campaign has clung on to this as well. A spokesperson for the campaign saying that this is a reference to firing squads, in addition to Liz Cheney herself saying that this is the language of dictators, and that, again, reaffirming her support for Vice President Harris.
All right, let me ask you about this now. The former president attempted to sway Muslim voters last week in Michigan, and he described Liz Cheney and other Harris supporters as anti-Muslim. Trump is headed to the Detroit metro area, which, as you know, has a large Arab American community. What do we expect to hear from him this afternoon?
Well, Donald Trump's argument has been that, again, like a lot of these groups that his campaign has micro-targeted, especially in Michigan, is that his foreign affairs policy in terms of starting no new wars, making sure that America focuses on itself and helps communities of immigrants who are here legally, they believe that that applies well to communities like Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. The 2 mayors of majority Muslim or Arab American cities have endorsed Donald Trump in the last couple of weeks. They've touted those endorsements. He had a number of imams on stage last weekend to tout their support for him and speak about, again, his foreign affairs views and how they align with that. Again, this kind of fits into the bigger picture of Vice President Harris and her campaign struggles to kind of rein in her supporters' views on the war in Gaza, and basically saying, if you don't agree with Vice President Harris, I will be the one to make sure that there's peace in the Middle East. Whether that's true or not, we saw the same amount of drama has kind of happened over both administrations.
President Biden won Dearborn by a 3-1 margin in 2020. We're talking, of course, about the conflict in the Middle East, which perhaps has changed the way people feel about President Biden and thus Vice President Kamala Harris. But the question that I have, and which is one that I think a lot of people are wondering about, are those folks in those communities suggesting that Donald Trump would be a better president, for example, for people of Palestinian descent living in Dearborn, Michigan, or elsewhere in the United States? Is that the message that they are coming away with?
Well, that's the message that the Trump campaign is trying to deliver, although when you talk to voters, and as our team here at CBS and our political department has talked to these voters, it's nuanced, right, in terms of while these people might want peace in the Middle East and they might not think that the Biden administration and potentially a future Harris administration are doing enough for the people of Palestine and people around all of the Middle East right now with the conflict going on, they don't necessarily think, in all cases, that Donald Trump would be the right person to take them out of this war in Gaza and to be strong on Israel in terms of actually stopping this. We've seen over the last couple of weeks, Donald Trump at the same time has leaned into his conversations with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that he would give Netanyahu the ability to do whatever he felt was right to end that war. Again, that's in a direct contrast to kind of this message that they're trying to make in communities like in Michigan and Dearborn.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Jake Rosen for us this morning. Jake, thank you very much.